Hello everyone, this is General History Gaming, and this is part 25 of our Ultimate General Civil War playthrough. We are moving on to the Winter 1862 campaign, also known as the Fredericksburg campaign. But before we play the Battle of Fredericksburg, we have two battles to fight. We had the Battle of Prairie Grove and the Battle of Corinth to play first. Corinth would be the first one we played, and then Prairie Grove. So moving right along, we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into the Battle of Corinth. Now a little bit of back story before Corinth. Now Corinth really wasn't the original target for the Confederates. It just happened to be a strategic opportunity to possibly take Corinth. Now Braxton Bragg was actually moving through Tennessee and up north into Kentucky at the time, and then so he relied on the support of two armies under Van Dorn and Sterling Price to sort of act as not so much a rear guard, but basically support him in his advance north by keeping the Union occupied, specifically that of Generals Rosecrans and General Grant, who were still operating near Tennessee. Now Corinth, like I said, it ended up being an opportune chance to take after the Battle of Iuka, where as Sterling Price waited, which took place because Sterling Price was waiting to link up with Van Dorn's army, where they could then, like I said, travel north in support of Braxton Bragg. He ends up losing at the Battle of Iuka, and then he goes southwest to then meet up with Van Dorn near Ripley, Mississippi, which was to the southwest of Corinth. After this, they then move north, securing the Memphis and Charlestown Railroad near Pocahontas, which put them in a good position to then take Corinth. At this point, Grant really didn't know what their intentions were, but he became sure of it soon enough that Corinth was the target. Now, Corinth was obviously earlier taken by the Union. It was held by the Confederacy up until right after the Battle of Shiloh. Now, we played the Battle of Shiloh before, and soon after that, Corinth was taken after Beauregard retreated from Corinth, leaving it under Union control. Now, a lot of the defenses around Corinth were the Confederate defenses that the Union had then occupied. Now, a lot of these were broken down, so they constructed new entrenchments and are mainly focused around artillery redoubts built around Corinth. Now, they still use the old Confederate lines, but the idea was to use these more skirmishing lines and then retreat back to the more heavily entrenched redoubts closer to town. The reason why is there was a lot of Confederate entrenchments around the town of Corinth. Too much for Rosecrans' army to actually occupy. So that's where we stand as we sort of start the Battle of Corinth now. We can read their briefing. Our army is deployed to attack the Yankees north of Corinth. We need to seize this town, a critical junction in the northern Mississippi, and disrupt Federal lines of communications. You lead the attack on the Federals' exposed left flank. Their position at the Memphis Road is exposed, leaving a significant gap near their center. If you move swiftly, you can crush them before the Yankees send reinforcements. Alright, so let's go ahead and start this battle. I'm not really sure which army I want to take or which one of my corps I want to take. I could take up to 15 brigades. I could use... he doesn't even have 15 brigades, so I think I'm going to go with the 2nd Corps, just because they'll be a little bit cheaper to replace in this battle. Now, it did say... So, something interesting. I find it interesting that they've chosen the Battle of Corinth as one of the battles. Usually, these typically minor battles are battles in which the whatever side you're playing as won. Now, Corinth ended up being a loss, but what it looks like is you actually play on the first day of the battle, which was October 3rd. Like I said, the Union had occupied the old Confederate lines just outside of Corinth and used those as a skirmishing line, and so on October 3rd, these were the lines that the Confederates attacked. Now, they did manage to break through these lines. However, It was the battle on October 4th, which went array for the Confederates, and they were defeated and forced back away from Corinth. But it looks like we're just playing the battle that ended up taking place around the Memphis Road, which, like I said, the Confederates were able to dislodge the Union defenders there. So October 3rd saw some minor victory for the Confederates, but it was October the 4th that would be devastating for Van Dorn's men. Now, not Vincent Price, Sterling Price, actually, I believe it was Sterling Price. It could have also been Lovell, Brigadier General Lovell, who actually wanted to wait to attack. Now, the Union and Confederates had just done a prisoner exchange earlier in the year. Earlier the year before, they had fought the Battle of Fort Donelson, which was the lead up to Shiloh. And all those prisoners taken at Fort Donelson, I believe all, if not most of all, those prisoners had been exchanged and were currently on their way back into the Confederate Army. And like I said, I believe it was Sterling Price wanted to wait for those troops to arrive before attacking. That way they would have reinforcements should they actually be able to take the town. But Van Dorn said the assault was going to go through without them, that he didn't want to wait. The longer he waited, he believed, the more time Grant had to reinforce Rosecrans at Corinth. So let's go ahead and get this battle started. So we're coming in, well, not granted, we're not going to have all 24,000, but the enemy does have 19,000 troops at Corinth. Yankees have deployed their left flank at Memphis Road, leaving a significant gap in their center. Their headquarters are established in this farm. Attack swiftly and crush the federal flank. Alright, so that's a very quick briefing. So Van Dorn what his plan was to do a double envelopment on the Confederate line, or the Union lines. I believe this is supposed to be the Memphis Road here, I would assume. Yeah. So we do have some entrenchments here. These are supposed to represent, I guess, the old Confederate lines. So I probably want to stay away from there. I might send a small force that way to try and flank them out of there. And we'll see how that goes. What I do want to get rid of, though, is my 2nd Division. I want to bring my 4th Division. I don't want my skirmishers. I'm just going to bring all infantry into the battle. I got to try and figure out who's part of my 2nd Division. No, they're part of my 3rd. Oh god. Shaw. We'll just do this. We'll get everybody off the field. I don't want to bring my light division. Like I said, I just want to bring all my heavy divisions. So let's start with my 1st Division. Bring them in. I have my 1st Division line up on my left, or right, sorry. Bring my 3rd Division. They're going to be my center. Because my plan of attack is to attack in division strength. And then, of course, bringing in my 4th Division. They will attack that what looks to be the more heavily defended area on the Union right. And artillery. So, okay, then my general and my supplies. There we go. Alright. Let's go ahead and pause. So like I said, I'm going to move my first division around the Union left. I think I'm going to mass all my artillery in the center. I was going to send them with the first division, but I think it would actually be better just to mass my artillery. God dang it. Sort of there in the center. I'll send 3 troops there, and then in case they have any skirmishers, I'll send in these woods, I'll send that force forward. And then, like I said, I'll move my 4th division to the right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and play. Okay, so don't want to move that far forward. Probably just move the cannon to this first wood line here. Where's wood? There we go. Move him in reserve. While Pharaoh, like I said, he's flinging through these woods. Brag's taking some significant casualties here. But hopefully this flanking force will be able to do some damage to him. Alright, so we're starting to get our right in position. Let's go ahead and pause. Let's go ahead and move these guys against these heavy entrenchments. Oh, shoot. Wait. Ooh. What are you doing? Oh my god. Who do I have selected here? Okay. All the cannon target Oglesby's men here. Barksdale and on their rear. Alright, Beauregard is wounded. Advance on the right is going. Looks like they only have the one division at the moment, or a brigade at the moment there. Bragg is reformed. Let's get him moving forward. So the Union on the Memphis Road had two divisions holding it. I forget who was in charge of the divisions, but Van Dorn focuses mostly on the left, with the idea being putting most of his men on the Union left and forcing them to reinforce with their right. Now that's exactly what the Union ended up doing, which left, as the briefing said, a huge gap in the middle of the Union lines, which the Confederates exploited by pushing men through that first Union line. Now they did have another division all the way on the right, just east of the Elam Creek. I believe it was Elam Creek, which they then tried to use to flank the advancing Confederates. However, because of the lack of communications between all these troops, that attack never really came into flourishing, and they ended up having to retreat and not launch that attack after all. And that's really all that happened, like I said, on October the 3rd. I don't really have very much specifics of the Battle of Corinth. It's not really one that I really know too much about in terms of the actual. I more know the strategic level, but not so much the tactical level of the battle. So we've finally broken them out of this position around this farm. These guys have the Springfields. Let's go ahead and get a charge in. Oh, no, I don't want to retreat. Charge. Sorry. Get Taliaferro to charge Crocker's brigade, see if we can knock him out of there. Trying to preserve as much troops as I can. Go ahead and get Jenkins moving up into this field. Go ahead and move one of my batteries forward as well. Slowly start inching them up forward. Bragg on the right and keep Hector in reserve. Okay, enemy cavalry moving in on our rear. That's alright. Oh, Taliaferro, retreat. I didn't realize they had broke. Brian, you get up there. Alright, I'm gonna use Farrell. Keep him in my rear so they don't attack, that cavalry doesn't attack my artillery, sorry. Now the second day of the battle, that's where the battle really gets more interesting and a lot more bloody. Shaw, you get out of there. I don't need you so exposed right in front of their artillery. They have infantry too. Move up another one of my guns. I don't know if I want to do this Now they're in cover. This is actually going to be a much more bloody battle than I was hoping, I feel. Oh wow, they got a lot of forces. Let's go ahead and move Hector here as well. I don't really want to split that many troops off, but I wasn't expecting such a rear. This must be the attack that I was talking about. I guess in the game they actually simulated as actually coming true. Now the Union right was held by Hamilton, and that's, I'm assuming, whose forces this would be moving in here. Like I said, his attack never really made any progress, and like I said, they ended up retreating. So I'm gonna use my forces here on the right to try and push in these lines here. In fact, you guys just charge that skirmisher unit. Close the distance at least. Alright, hold and fire. So Barksdale, Shaw, and Jenkins. These 4 units, a little bit of my first, but mostly my... Is it my first? No, that's my first. So mostly my 3rd division is taking a lot of casualties here. Barksdale was forced back, unfortunately, but that was to be expected. Alright, so we got Allen routing, so my 4th division, which is the division I thought was going to have the most problems, is actually... Oh, no, I don't want... It's actually the division that's doing the better job here. And they actually just forced some of these troops to sort of reposition themselves. I'm gonna go ahead, move Kitching and Hayes forward, and put Barksdale in reserve. Focus on their artillery. Shaw, you two. Alright, so we got, what is that? Hinkenlooper's artillery routing. Stone is in that forested area, so they're going to be a lot more difficult to force out of there. Jamestown artillery behind these forces here. I have 1 more hour left to push this position. So we'll move dragons to these woods here. Now, the second day of the battle brought the battle for the redoubts, the artillery redoubts that the Union had established. The Confederates were actually able to take one of the redoubts. I believe it was the Battery Powell that they took. However, they weren't able to support the assault that, or support the troops that actually took the battery. Van Dorn, rather than the day before where Van Dorn had really focused his assaults, like I said, mostly on this Memphis road, he did a more broad assault the second day of the battle. So his forces were a lot more spread out. In fact, some of the forces hardly engaged during the battle. Those, particularly those on the Confederate right, were the ones that hardly engaged. We're actually running out of ammo down here in the south. Some of our divisions have more ammo than the others, though, or brigades, rather. Folks stay in reserve. Gonna keep Battery Snow up here to keep pouring on. We are not doing as good here. I feel like these two brigades are gonna break here soon. But I mean, they are still giving it better than they're getting it, for the most part. But we are starting to push them back here. We got them in a bit of a salient. But most of the second day's battle on October the 4th is mostly remembered for Battery Robinette. That's the one that the Confederates kept launching assault after assault against and kept failing. It was, I forget the name of the colonel. It was a Texas, was it Porter? I believe it was his name. He was a close friend of Jefferson Davis, but he ends up falling. He ends up, there's a famous photo where he was, of his division, or brigade, that was, engaged in the assault, where they're all dead, unfortunately, but it's one of the few times where you can actually see an actual officer, in the photo of the dead, clearly see an officer. But it was famous for, he sort of tried rallying his troops around, the Battery Robinette, was hit with a canister shot, which just ripped apart his men. Now, to the right of Battery Robinette, the Confederates did make some significant progress in the battle, even getting to Corinth itself. But unfortunately, again, because they didn't have the troops to support actually holding the town, these forces were eventually forced back with a Confederate Union counterattack. Move some of my batteries up a little closer. Actually, gonna move Barksdale and see if he can get some fire on some of these artillery batteries. Pass is open. I'm gonna go ahead and move these guys in. Alright, men are still holding here in the north, although Farrell might be breaking here. Although their morale is good. They still have good morale, even though they're taking heavy losses. Proctor's been holding on pretty hard. In fact, they really need to get some ammo over to these men. We're starting to take the farm here in the middle. Hayes did break away though. Oh man, I want Barksdale to shoot those batteries. Kitching forward. Ooh, took some canister. Oh, and there's a cavalry unit moving in. But it's just skirmisher cavalry, so it shouldn't be too bad. Drive off that cavalry. 8 minutes left. We have to hold the farm for 12 though. Go ahead and move wood forward. So we ended up taking a lot more casualties than I was really hoping. But I think we're going to secure this with no problem. Jeez, that last volleyball by Barksdale barely did anything. Although we did force back Oglesby. Oh, and we can finish the battle. Let's finish the battle. There we go. Confederate victory. We lost over 5,000 men. That's more than we're actually going to get back. Oh, so that was very... Oh, that hurts. I was hoping for a lot better results than that. So that's unfortunate. We did take the farm though, so we do get a victory. It was pretty close all in all, because I mean, they lost significantly more than we did. Not significant, about 2,000 more troops than we did. But still, not as good results as I was hoping. We did get some promotions, although Beauregard was wounded. And we did capture a good amount of Harper's Ferries and some other arms. 6 10-pound Parrott rifles, that'll help out a lot. Some Lorraine, some pattern Enfields we recovered. So, all in all, I mean, like I said, not the result I was hoping. We lost a lot more troops than I was really hoping to lose, but it is what it is. So we ended up getting 38,000, so we have 4,000, so we still have another 1,400 that we're not going to be able to replace. So that's unfortunate. So let's go ahead. We lost Beauregard in the 1st Division. Put Bratton in charge. We'll go ahead and move Shaw in charge of this 1st Division. Alright, so let's go ahead and rebuild. Should be able to do it with mostly rookies, so we shouldn't end up having to spend too much money. Although some of these divisions were very close to, like, look at Barksdale, he's right there getting his division experience promotion. Jamestown, no, they lost some troops, there we go. 2nd Division wasn't engaged. 3rd Division was, though. Feel like I probably could have played that battle better. These guys are going to have to take some veterans. Oh, we don't even have enough Springfields to fully... That's unfortunate. We're going to have to look at... Yeah, we're going to have to look at upgrading some of the weapons here. So let's take a look at that. They got Pattern Enfields, they got Springfields. Let's see what we have. We could give them Enfields. It's going to cost 38,000. But that should give me enough Springfields now to equip the rest of my troops with, at least Barrow's Corps. Because we only got now 100 men left. We can go ahead and put Wood all the way back up. And we have 21, so we can put them at 1,400. So that's all we can really do this battle, or after this battle, I mean. So we mostly were able to, he got a promotion. We'll stick with that one. So Taliaferro got his unit promotion. So we only really weren't able to fill out two of our units. Everybody else got filled out. And granted, Okay, well, they lost 1 man. I might look at... I don't know what this next battle is going to bring. It's Prairie Grove, which is actually a battle I don't know anything about. Granted, I didn't know too much about Corinth either, because most of my interest is on the Eastern War, not so much the Western part of the war. So it was basically something I barely knew enough about to talk about. And even then, I don't know if I really did a good job, so I apologize if you didn't find any of it interesting. I might end up having to bring my first Corps in for the next battle. Let's take a look at Prairie Grove. Might bring my 3rd Corps. I don't know yet. Let's take a look at what we can bring. How many brigades? We can only bring 12 brigades. I can move a brigade over to give me a full 12 if I really wanted. I might look at that next battle. We'll take a look at that next episode. But yeah, for now, this is going to be General History, and I'm going to be signing off. Thank you all for watching. Bye.